Okay. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Welcome, viewers. Welcome, replay viewers. I know I'm a little late. I'm a little later than I said I was going to be, but, you know, life happens. What can I say? It's a Friday, getting ready for a busy weekend, and things just keep coming up, and so now I'm 20 minutes late. Sorry. You can always contact me at any of these social medias. Follow me. Love to see you. Love to get to know you. So thanks for all that. Alright, so I have this dancer that I am working on. And after fixing my little artist snafu, yes, I make mistakes. We all do. We just tend not to show them. But after having my little artist... where I did things on the wrong layer and it was messed up. So I resketched it for the 4th time properly. I think it should all be set now. I hope I'm set now. And I'm ready to throw some color down. So, if anybody's been... Hi, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. For those who've been here before, you all know digital art is all about layers. This, my top layer, is the sketch layer, and I like coloring underneath it for my illustrations. So I have a new layer here that I am going to name Skin, because I start with the skin. Alright. Hello, hi, thanks for stopping by. If you're a frequent viewer, I know who you are. If not, feel free to put your name up there and let me know. I love getting to know everybody. I'm just working on this little digital illustration here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now this dancer doesn't have as much skin showing as I usually have because it's more about the tutu, which looks like a rose. But we're going to do the first layer of skin here. I want to get a nice base color, and I like to use my acrylic setting. Get this brush the right size. This is a fun of digital. I have all the settings. That circle is my brush size, so you can see it getting a little smaller. And I am on an acrylic opaque smooth brush, and I'm just going to color. That's a little darker than I wanted it. So I'm going to tweak her skin color a little bit. Alright, there we go. So I am underneath this drawing, which so you can see it's not messing up my black line, and I can come back and erase it. So I am, hi, thanks for coming. I'm just throwing down some color here. Feel free. Hi, how are you? So glad to have you. Feel free to ask any questions. It gives me a place to go. So I'm just doing the skin. This is the base color, and then of course there'll be a highlight and some shadow. How old am I? I am old. Shh! I'm 48. I don't feel it. I feel like I'm 22. So, but I'm older. Hope you're not prejudiced against us old folks. Doing our thing. Alright, so as you can see, I'll just throw down this color. I'm painting in her arms, and I'll come back and I'll clean it up with my eraser, which is one of the reasons why I love doing digital, because I like having the precise control. I'm a control freak. See, look at, I said how old I was and I lost some people watching me. That's craziness. Thanks for the hearts. I needed the love after being rejected for being old. How old am I? I'm old. And then you guys, then whoever just left after I said how old I was just made me feel even older. I know, I don't feel old. And old is just how you feel. So there's just a little... That's dress, that's dress, that's a feather, this is skin. I had a So shade. There's just a little touch of skin in there. So I just kind of like getting... I just started coloring this. I had to redo this whole sketch this morning. Just like the 4th time. No, this is Corel Painter, which is a little more arty for me. Not so much digital. It really reacts a lot like painting. Alright, I want to back this up a little bit so I can see it all in one shot to get my highlights and my lowlights in. So I always like doing my highlights first. A little bit of lighter shade. My light direction is going to be coming this way. So I want to, let's see, it'll be like probably a highlight here. One going in through here to emphasize her spine. At this end of her arm, maybe a little bit here, and this side of her leg. And then I need a little shadow to give me some depth. I don't know if I want it super dark, slightly darker. And that would be on the other side of the light. So we will have a shadow. It's kind of gray. I don't like that. See, that's what I like right here. This is what I like, is that if I don't like it, I can instantly change it, and I didn't just screw up my whole drawing because my anxiety factor would have been like pinging. Oh, I just ruined the whole thing that I've spent hours on. Alright, just a little bit of a slight shadow. A little bit down the spine here. On the back side of her arm. Right underneath her head. And alright, so now I take my magic blender, my favorite water brush, and this is where it's kind of like a watercolor, but I'm just going to add this brush here, right here, you can see, nothing happens. It only happens if I touch the paint. So it's like taking a brush of water and adding it to my colors and blending them in. So I get my nice smooth transition. It's like a controlled watercolor. So I will blend these in until I'm happy with how her skin looks. This is a really easy, sort of, I mean, the face is not on this one, so I don't have to really deal with eyes or lips. So it should be the skin layer should go pretty fast. I'll get right into being able to paint the flower of her dress, which the tutu of the dress looks going to be like a red rosy, look like a flower. So you see how this is just blending all the shades in. And the shadows and highlights, thank you. The shadows and highlights are what give form. That's a big compliment coming from you, so that just made my morning. Because I watch you do your work all the time. So, thank you, thank you. I'm just a girl, or an old woman, however you want to look at it. I'm just a girl or an old woman, however you choose to look at it. Teaching myself, doing my thing, you know? So I'm just going to blend these in. I want it to be a little sharper on the highlights because I want it to give it that little gleam. And right now the highlights and the shadows are sort of emphasizing the muscles of her back. And dancers, if you look at them, their bodies are pieces of art because they work so hard And they have lots of really nice defined muscles. Oh, well, see, I rarely work watercolor like you do, so yeah. And that's just because the watercolors make me crazy. I think I caught you, you were talking the other day about the flow of watercolors, I believe. And that's what makes me nuts. So we all have our own, strengths and weaknesses, which is what makes the art world amazing. And I enjoy seeing what everybody comes up with. Alright. And I have recently, just in the last few months, just recently in the last few months, have fallen in love with illustrations. I love them now. And I think it's because with the digital, I can kind of really get in here. Because here's my favorite part. I come in here and it can erase precisely to my line and make it all nice and pretty. So I come in, and then when I'm doing this for somebody other than me, the digital, see, I could see where I didn't blend that, so now I need to get in here and blend it a little bit more. The digital, I'll print them out on canvas if it's for somebody. And then I learned from my friend Karen, we all know Karen Orr, learned from my friend Karen, right, yeah, I could take my time, I could go in and, like if that was watercolor, I'd have to come in and color on top of it to cover up any of the bleeding. This way, I just get in here and just erase it, and then I'll put the color on a different layer. But when I do these for somebody, the illustrations will get printed out on a canvas paper, and then I add real acrylic paint and glitter if needed for a costume, so that the illustration gets embellished with real paint. Though I consider digital real paint, a lot of people don't. But, no. The technology is there, it enables me, just like, it'll come along. And I've been teaching myself this since January, so it does. You know what, if you've ever been, I have a couple. Let me see how the light works. I can throw these in front, and you can see. Here's an illustration. It's printed on canvas paper, so you could see the texture on the canvas, and that's printed from canvas paper. These are just practice ones, so this is actually printed on the wrong side. This is not painted yet, so these will get printed out. These are just for me to practice painting. I printed them out. You can see the texture, and it's printed on here, and then I'll come on top and paint and glitter this up on top. Do I have one that's sort of... Let's see, here's another one. See, these are wrong. Like, I messed up on one side, so I just was printing some out for me to practice on my own. I have to work on those. Oh, here we go. Here's one that's sort of done. See, I started working on this one, so I will add paint and glitter. Her paint's not all done yet, but you can see kind of how that gets added in to flash it up a little bit. So I have those to practice on. Oh, yeah, this butterfly that's on my business card, and my sister wanted it. It's a graphic design I did, yeah, but it was printed out wrong, not the right resolution and everything. So, and then like this, see, this is all printed, misprinted. And so I just use the back side to practice. Why waste my canvas paper, right? Canvas paper ain't really cheap, so instead of wasting it, I just print something on the other side to practice. So that's what I use it for. All the goofs get turned into practice paper. Alright. So, yeah, you got to. That's another thing I like about digital. If I screw up, I'm not wasting paper. I only print the things out when I know that they're ready to be printed. But sometimes, you know, you might load the printer wrong or not have the right settings, and then you mess up your paper. So, things still happen. Alright, I want to blend this a little more. See, I like when I could get in here and I could see something that I might not have seen when I came through the first time. So I could come in here and catch it. Make sure it's filled right to the lines. And blend it in. Alright. So everybody around here is waking up now. Oh, my son is trying to get volunteering at an eye clinic for preparing for nursing school. So that's what all that noise in the background is. He's out on the back deck on the phone. Kyle, can you turn that down? I'm going to have to close the door. I need to have like a studio sign, like a recording studio sign. Recording, please do not disturb. They don't care. They wouldn't care. They would still fly in through here. Alright. So grab my little grabber, slide this around. So I'm glad I came in here and re-looked at this. I like this to be a little smoother. Okay. I'm going to have to close the door because it's driving me nuts. Go sit out on the front porch. But no, can't sit on the front porch. I have to sit on the back porch right outside my window with your speaker on the phone. I'm telling you. Kids. Kids. They cramp my style sometimes. Love them, but they cramp my style. So what are you up to today? Love to hear about it. Can't wait. After I'm done with this, it'll be my lunch break. And I will be checking out everybody else's scopes for the last 24 hours. Hearting up some replays. All that fun stuff. And then I have to get busy for a busy weekend because we have some people coming to visit. Alright, blend that in. So I want it right to the line. Clean this up. Ooh, that's exciting. You're talking at Google. What are you talking about? Are you allowed to say? Are we going to be able to watch it? That's exciting. And you've been traveling and everything. I love it. I love vicariously my dreams. Alright, I think I got most of this. I just saw in one more little spot. Alright. Oh! You see, I'm like old, as you found out. I got deemed old. And so I'm still learning about all this social networking and YouTubing, and I just got on Twitter like a month ago. I'm slowly catching up. By the time I catch up, something new happens. Alright. So, I think I'm going to do the dress next because that's the fun part. And her hair is really not part of it, so I could do that later. I've been itching to paint this dress. And this is just sort of practice for myself. This is not for anybody, but you never know. Somebody might see it and say, hey, that was pretty. Paint my dress. I need some coffee. Oh! Alright. So, I'm thinking I want it to be like red, orange, orangey red. And I want to start with the darker colors first. Okay. So this is the process I'm taking you through in my brain. I want to start with the darker colors first. I want to be able to see. Alright, there we go. You can see most of the rows here. So now, in my brain, I'm just going to be painting a flower. Even though it's this dress, the dress is done to look like a flower. So, I want to make this a little smaller so I can get some detail in. And if you see a rose, all the darker colors are like in the creases. So I'm going to start dark and then end up going to light through this, just simply because I want to define my petals. So I'm just laying in the color, and then it'll get blended in to be nice and soft. Squeeze. And as we know in art, dark recesses and light pops out. So we're going to do the dark to give dimension. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Made my day. Woohoo! And I will be sure. I always watch your stuff on replay so you can see my little hearts. I love you, Keys. Everybody, if you're into illustration, please follow her because she's amazing. You can look her up in the replay list there. So that just made my whole weekend having somebody who I admire as an artist and an illustrator, because I'm still learning about this, come in and enjoy what I was doing. So that made my morning, well, my afternoon. It's afternoon now, so we'll say afternoon. Alright, so the reason I'm doing all this same color right now is because I want to make sure I get the same color before I start blending everything in. So we're kind of just blending this stuff, putting colors down, and then it all will get blended in. And it's going to make the layers, like this layer's on top of this layer, so it'll have a nice crease here. And that's how we will start determining the position of the layers as to what's giving a shadow to something else. Alright. So that's basically what the highlights and shadows do, is help you determine the form. Because when you see the lighter stuff will be on top of the dark. So basically I'm creating creases in this dress. And the form of it will start coming out. Oh, I know it's a process, guys. Be patient. And for me, this is pretty quick, actually. So, and so it'll start forming the shape and how it flows. This is a little dark one in here. And see, like this one, the lower it gets, the more shadow it's going to have. And that's just from the light source as well, that this side of the body and so is more in shadow. So this side of the dress will be more in shadow. Okay, so that's most of the low lights. Now we're going to go for then a little bit of a lighter, brighter red color. And we're going to start painting this in. So it's going to gradually start coming out. And then the magic of blending will happen. So this is a shadow, but not a dark shadow. So it gives it, it's going to be blending in with the shadow, but start getting the true rose color and developing more of the flow of the petals. But I'm still just kind of laying down the color, and the magic happens when I bring in the water brush to blend them in. So just like a rose, some of the sections are a little darker, when in reality, you know, the material is all the same color, pretty much. There's a little bit of variations, but it's pretty much the same color. And the it's all shadow, it's all shadows and light that create the forms. All right. And show us which way things are moving and bending. Let's see. I'm trying to. I have a reference photo of this dress that I'm kind of peeking at a little bit here. To help me get an understanding of the direction that this color is working. so this is like mostly in shadow, and then it's partly in shadow. So you can start seeing the flower start to develop here with the highlights and the lowlights. Touch of that. Alright, so now I will kick it up to another shade, but still not yet the light shade. I actually kind of wanted a little more red. I don't want it pink. I'm trying to get this nice, bright, that might be, alright, that might work. Alright. So, I'm going to lay this down probably on the rest of this flower. And then add a highlight on top to blend it in. So, I'm just kind of filling in the spots here. And then when I add the water, it will naturally, sort of like watercolor, start diluting it. And blending them together. And hopefully I will get what I'm looking for. I have never done a flower tutu before. So it is always learning. Alright. La 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 la. I should have put some music on. I usually don't because it makes me want to sing. So see, once I get the flow, this part will go a lot quicker because I'm just kind of filling in what I've already laid down with my shadows. Setting myself up for blending. Alright, so you can kind of see this developing. And now I have like this lighter, it's a little orange highlight that I will put in on the tips. Just a little bit in there. Okay. Getting anxious to add the water too. Now this is not supposed to be a real flower. It is a dress that imitates a flower. And then I'm doing an illustration which imitates the dress. So, I do want a little bit, just a touch of let's see, just a touch of like this little pinky white. A little whiter. There we go. Just a touch of this. Put in now and then on. And I'm going to blend that in, and it might come back. And put some more in on some of the bigger, just to accent, like a little bit of the flow here that the light might hit. Yeah, some of these will probably get it. All right. So let's take the magic water brush. I love this blender on here. It just did, I don't know why, I just do. And so I want to turn the skin off so it doesn't, oh, not that layer. So you see me blending the colors in, and that's where it starts looking paintery. And yes, I just made up that word. That's my made up word. Paintery. So if I drag it from the dark, I'll get the dark. If I drag it in the color, I get the color. And I could come back and tone it up. So see, I want this red to go in a little more into the dark. I just kind of drag it in there. And the more water I add, every time I pick up my stylus and touch it down, it's like adding a blot of water. So I could dot it, and it's just like adding water. So see, I'm blending these highlights in. And I like the water blend because just like a watercolor, you know how you get those nice soft transitions from your colors and they kind of like flow into each other? That's what the water blend does. And see, I could come back in here and say, oh, I want a little more of this color to come down. And I could just like drag it down in here because I want it to kind of curve right there. And then after I do an initial blend, I could come in and add a little bit of darks and highlights where I think they're needed after I've blended together the first time. And I have not had a lot of experience with a bunch of digital programs, but that's why I like Corel Painter. Because it lets me paint. It's not just filling in digitally. I'm shading with, grays and adding a flat color on top. I'm actually painting pretty much how I would paint for real. So and I'm going to be honest right now, I already screwed up. And I usually don't tell people about my screw-ups, but relating to the painting aspect of this, I think this might be relevant. I've already screwed up in that I usually do my dress on a whole different layer from my skin, simply because of this right here, how it'll get in there, and I have to kind of clean it up. And I made the mistake of keeping this on the same layer because I was all excited about my visitor. And I know she's probably going to think I'm crazy, but I am. I'm like a fangirl of hers. So have her coming in here and saying, you know, Miss Keys telling me that she liked what I was doing was exciting for me. So I hope she comes back and watches the replay and sees that. I'm kind of a fan. So I forgot to put it on on a whole separate layer. So I'm still on the same layer, just like if I was painting. It's the same layer. So this is really you know, like if I was on one page of paper, except for my line drawing. My line drawing's on a separate page right now, a separate layer. But everything else right now is all on the same layer because I made a boo-boo and forgot to add a separate layer that I wanted to add. But that's okay. It's working out alright. I'll make it work. I'll make it work because I don't want to go back and have to redraw it all. But you can see how I'm painting it. You'll see the layers. I will work on these. Like I need a little more dark in here, I think, to bring it under this. So basically the first go around is laying everything out and then coming in and seeing how the colors work together, and then you go into the details. So you have your base, which gives you your starting point, and then you go in on top and start doing the defining everything. And I just kind of drag my water brush in the same, like see I'm going in this direction, like up. Just the same way I want the colors to kind of flow back and forth, because that's what would be on a petal. Hi Blue, I don't know what your real name is, so if you want to speak up and say, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm working on an illustration of a dancer, and this tutu looks like a rose. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'll show you the whole thing. Hang on, I can do that in a second. This is what I'm working on. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It gives me something to talk about. Like, I know what people are trying to get the right size back now. That's good. About there. I want to be able to see the whole flower, and I also kind of want to see the detail. So I put down in acrylics, and right now I just have, it's called Just Add Water, the brushes. It's a blender. As you can see, no colors associated with it. It's just like taking water and adding it to my paint. So I'm blending all my colors that I laid in for this flower part of the tutu. And I'm just blending them in. And this is just the first go around, so I will come back and put some more details to define the petal layers or the tutu layers after I'm done with this first layer. I'll see where that'll show me where I need to define some form a little more and add color or shadows or highlights. Oop, don't need that. Thank you. I just changed something on me. I hit a button. There we go. Alright. So basically, I'm just working my way around this flower and blending the colors that I threw down there, blending them together to get this nice flow that I like. The water blender is my favorite because it just gives me that nice soft transition between the colors that I like. And so it's sort of like a controlled watercolor. I don't know if you can hear my puppies in the background. They're like playing like crazy. So I've added like 3 or 4 different colors on here. And right now I'm just blending them together and seeing how they work. I seem to be doing pretty good. Like I'm liking the blend. I might have to come by in a couple of these sections and give them a little more light or color or dark to make them a little richer. Because the color helps define, like this darker color, I want it to come down a little bit into this tip and help define the sections. Because even though it's an illustration, you know, you want to, that's part of the, I mean, you need to recognize, you want people to recognize these are different layers on this dress. Bunch of ruffles. That look like a flower. Alright. Alright, so I'm thinking it is noon now. It's almost time for my lunch. And I don't really have anybody here that's right here at this moment. So I am going to probably go grab myself some lunch and work on this shading a little bit. You can kind of see how this is going. I'll bring it back out here for you guys. Kind of see how this is going, and I'd love for you to see the finished product. And if you'd like to see the finished product, you can follow me on any of the social media, probably at my Facebook page here. This is my artist page on Facebook, or right here, which is Instagram, and this is Twitter, and of course here on Periscope. Those are the ones that you will consistently see my finished art, because I'll post it on all of them. So please follow, like, comment, say hello. I'd love to get to know you, and I'd love to see what you like and don't like. So thanks for your time. I hope everybody has a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. I have a busy weekend, so if I'm on Scope again, it'll probably be either maybe tonight if there's a basketball game, or this weekend in the evenings. But you know, the Monday's holiday, so I don't know about Monday yet. So you know, I have to see how everything plays out. But I hope you join me. If you follow me, I follow back, and if you follow me, you'll get to see all my works in progress. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.